Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, RICANS. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my YAHAWAH who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. For Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 13, for Yahweh made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. Now, today's lesson is going to be on a lesson that I had seen, and when I first saw it, I just thought like it invoked so much, I guess, emotion, because it was so beautifully done, and it really is like a very important thing that we, being in this truth, need to be aware of. All right, let me also get this. Isaac. Bear with me one moment. Okay. Alright, so in Genesis, yes. So yeah, basically, it's lucky for that. But basically, the thing is, and the story with Abraham sacrificing Isaac ties perfectly into it as well. Which, first things first, I want to establish that there is the matter of the stuff that he talked about in how death is kind of like a release, or removing all those restrictions and the things that are making us suffer in a way, but at the same time, trying to think. But at the same time, I'm trying to think of that one precept I forgot. It's about whatever. It's fine. Whatever. Just Yahawadah, I'll remember it as I go through the lesson. But basically, in terms of the whole, in terms of the death thing, he goes into such a beautiful lesson. Again, I just want to establish first thing first that this is like one of these most important videos that you watch, especially being in the truth, so as to give you more of a faith booster, as well as more faith in Yahawadah when it comes to some of these harder decisions that we are going to have to make. All right, so, and as well as the fact that this lesson that he does perfectly embodies this precept in Revelation chapter 2 verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right. So in terms of death, okay, if you want to call it that, basically death does not signify the end of your life, but it signifies that the rewards you will have to be able to have lived for Yahawadah. All right. So as a result of that, that's where all the rewards lie in. So let me get that. In John chapter 14 verse 2, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. So basically, you see the comparison with, many mansions. Like there's many, surplus of blessings for you, because one nuclear family does not need a mansion. All right, most nuclear families, if you ever watch a movie, I guess, or if you have your own nuclear family, they just need a house. A house is all that they need, and especially given the fact that if you are just a nuclear family and you live in a mansion, that's just so much that you have to clean, that you would have to clean, and it's just more work for just extra space that you never really end up using. But regardless of that, that's besides the point. The main point is the fact that it is representative of a surplus of blessings reserved for each one of us, because there's many mansions, so there's many surplus waiting for each and every single one of us. It's not just, oh, you one brother, two brothers have to share thing, oh, three sisters have to share this one. Like, no, it's a surplus of blessings. And as a result of that, these are the things that are awaiting for us spiritually, which let's get that in Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. Lay not for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, but where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. All right, so this is where the thing is, where we are seeking that spiritual blessing, the spiritual rewards, the spiritual surplus, where it's something that is, well, number one, we establish as a surplus, but at the same time, it's also in these scriptures, something that is incorruptible as well as basically permanent. Because the thing is, when you have wealth in this kingdom, in this society, that can be taken away from you, it can be stolen, it can be it can run out and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, it's like having in the kingdom slash the spiritual wealth, that's like having a bottomless pit. Like, say for example, you have a bag of chips. Let's say a bag of chips, for example. If you go into that bag of chips and you take, it's just like never. It basically never ends, for that metaphorical parabolic example. All right. So with that, in comparison, where if you had a bag of chips in this society, it is going to eventually run out. It's going to, end. Like, but spiritually, in the kingdom of heaven, with YAHAWAH and MANASHAH, the rewards He gives you, they are never ending. All right. Now, next, I want to talk a bit about this, because he basically goes into, to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord, and it is like it's more so like I'm not trying to summarize this. I'm not going to talk too much on this. I highly recommend you watch this video. It's going to be linked in the description, and in addition to that, I also had put this in my community tabs or post tabs, whatever the freak it's called. I think they keep on changing the thing, so you can go check that out, as well as any other videos that I share. All right, so this is a very good lesson that talks about death, because recently, I guess, there was a brother who had been doing the work that had recently passed, and it is, I guess, a sad thing, but it also made me think about how initially I thought in Wisdom of Solomon 1:13, for Yahweh made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. Verse 14, for he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful, and there was no poison of destruction in them, nor the king of death upon the earth. Now also, let me get this in Revelation. It's bear with me, I'm trying to get this one thing, if I can find it. I think it's okay, here. Revelation chapter 21 verse 4, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So basically, what is known to us, or what we know, is that when YAHAWAH and Yahawashi establishes YAHAWASHI, when the the kingdom of heaven is established and everything is put into place, which it's not. By the way, which goes to show that those fakers are indeed fakers. You know who I'm talking about. And when that time would come, there wouldn't be any more crime, but yet people are still crying and suffering now. So it goes to show who are in fact in rulership. Okay. So let me get this. I don't know why it's not going out. Bear with me one moment. It's in here. Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And once again, there's so many people that are homeless and just hate their lives. There are people that are not homeless, lucky. There are people that are literally not homeless that hate their lives, how their lives are going on now. And it's not because their lives are fucked up. Well, yes, that is a part of it, but it's simply because it's become increasingly harder to be able to sustain yourself and to live in general because of the thing. Because so many people, what's the word? So many people are incapable of living on their own. Like it's the rent for most people's stuff. If they didn't own a house, prior to I think 20 years ago, it's gone up. The interest rates and all that stuff, like it's just not livable if you are living like paycheck to paycheck, and it's just constantly getting worse where people have to get not just a normal full-time job, but on top of a full-time job they need a side hustle and stuff like that in order to properly sustain themselves. All right. And as a result of that, this is where so many people have no issues just complaining and bitching about how terrible their lives are on the internet. All right, which that's another thing where we know about all this stuff simply because the internet allows for anyone to just say whatever. All right, so as a result of that, this is how, once again, as I said, as we know that things aren't right, things are not in proper place, and at the same time, we still are basically obligated to continue to push forward and live in this world that the Lord put us in, because once again, like it's not for us to just take our lives or anything like that, or to seek death, but it's more so for us to be patient. But at the same time, should the Lord decide to take someone's life, then it's for you to understand that the Lord might be giving them mercy, especially if they had an ailment plaguing them. All right, so it's just like the Lord's putting you through some hardships, testing you, trying you, just as we read in let's get it, Zechariah 13 and 8. That's what it was. I kept on saying 8 and 9. What is 8 and 9 actually, as a matter of fact? 8 and 9. I'll come back to it later. Zechariah chapter 13 verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, and the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. So basically, being put through the fire, being the fire representing adversity, all right, for us to be tested, to be made perfect, basically. All right, as we let me actually get that example. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 8. 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 1 Corinthians 13 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps, and his steps were perfect, and just as we need to be perfect. But to further bring it home, let's also get this, because it's not just Yahawashi, but let's also get Matthew chapter 5 verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Okay, so as we see that our Heavenly Father Yahawadah is perfect, we should also strive for perfection, and we are being made perfect through this these trials and tribulations. All right. So as a result of that, basically to say when the trial and tribulation and the refining is done, then that's might be the Lord, taking said brother or sister up earlier than the return of Yahawashi. All right, and yeah, I'm not gonna spoil too much because I want whoever to watch this to watch this video. So basically, let's just get to the point, Slakia. Luke chapter 17 verse 33. Whosoever shall seek his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. Alright, so basically to end it off, it's just like when you are able to live for Yahawadah, not living, oh yeah, I want to get this $1 million thing, I want to get that fancy car, I want to extend my life just to be able to continue to live in this evil and wicked society. And that's when you're going to basically lose it, because the Lord is going to send judgment on not just you, but just this entire kingdom, all right, for their wickedness, all right, as is what's going to happen when Yahawashi returns. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahawadah, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakab Wadash, double honors to the elders, the apostles, the great millstone, Abad Bal, and Shalom.